Hi, how's it going? I'm Tiffany Stewart. I run Anchored Female. You've probably seen the order form to buy some apparel. It's fun stuff. I do specialize in female nutrition. That's not like what I started in the beginning. But after working with females and then having a daughter of my own and then just learning so many different ways that a female body uses food, I wanted to do the best I could to understand as far as I could with it and then help female athletes use that as fuel and energy and stop all of the confusion because there's a lot of chaos in the nutrition world out there. So since we have a small group, I'm not going to put all of you on the spot right now, but I will put you on the spot. See if you have any like specific questions or concerns or challenges that I can maybe answer because I usually work best in that realm. Because question and answer is a lot more fun. So we'll have time for that for sure, but I am going to ask questions along the way. So you do have a little like handout here, and I did send you home with some goodies back on those tables with ideas for pre-workout, post-workout, what your plate should look like. We're going to be talking about that depending on if it's a high workout day or if it's a not workout day. So some timing things too. Do you have any questions before I get started? Anything you want to make sure that I touch on? No? Okay. Don't be quiet this whole time, okay? So when you're building your plate, you want to make sure that you have like 3 non-negotiables always on your plate. That would be protein at every meal, knowing that carbs are not the enemy, that they are fuel, so having carbohydrates, and then that consistency over perfection. So sometimes we can get into the bucket of like, I have to do this or I can't do this. You end up having like too many rules and no freedom, and that will oftentimes lead to binging and giving up all hope, right? So making sure that you just know, like, do I have protein? Like today, I have sourdough. It's been a long day. I'm super tired. So I made some toast, and then I was like, I need protein. What can I do? If you have not tried a little bit of honey and cottage cheese on toast, it's amazing. So that's what I did for my snack today. So I have my carbs and I have my protein. The only thing I was missing is color. That should always also be on your plate. So protein, carbs, fat, and color. And we have Kat here who is going to tell us all kinds of color things. So those are the main things. So when you're building a balanced plate, hold on, I want to just take a note here. Okay, let's first talk about simple takeaways. So if I lose you, because apparently the attention span is like 3 to 5 minutes. And so we're pushing that already. So before I lose you, I'm going to give you some takeaways that you can use right away. Number 1, limit processed foods. So processed food is anything that comes in a package, even our wonderful protein powders and bars and all that stuff. So limit those. Try to use whole real foods for your protein sources and nutrition sources of all kind. Make some promises and like rules for your life, and not so much so that you're like pigeonholed into things, but like today I had a stressful day and I try not to have any like sweets until after dinner. And today I was like, I'm going to give myself permission to break that rule because I was just nonstop running. And my husband was sweet enough to buy me some caramel chocolates yesterday. So I allowed myself to have 2 chocolate squares and still have dessert after dinner tonight, because sometimes we just need to do that. But for the most part, I try to just limit my sugar intake until maybe a small sweet treat after dinner. And I try to keep, at least Monday through Friday, that sweet treat being fruit instead of the chocolate or the ice cream or whatever it is. But on the weekends, I allow myself to have those things because life is short and we need dessert. And then also like having that grace for yourself and allowing time for your favorite foods. So if you're building a plate, there is, if you look at the one handout, when you're building your plate, I don't have one up here. There's 3 different plates on your sheet there. Can I borrow your stuff? So you change your plates. Thank you. You change your plates based on your day. Okay. So if you're looking at a light day, your bigger portion of your plate should be fruits and vegetables. So a lot more color. If you have a hard training day and you're lifting a lot of weights or you're sore, like right now I'm really sore from a workout I did yesterday. So my carbs are going to be a little bit higher to help me recover from that. So your carbohydrates are going to be more from whole wheat pasta And like if you can have homemade bread, that's probably one of the better options versus the store bought. And then your protein will also change. Like if you're moderate day, your protein's a little bit higher to help with recovery and just to satisfy your cravings and things like that. Okay. You'll want to aim for about 20 to 30 grams of protein at every meal. So that's like the palm of your hand, right? So Greek yogurt, hard-boiled eggs. Hard-boiled eggs are oftentimes better than a fried egg or a scrambled egg because then you get the higher fat content after. So if you can have hard-boiled eggs, it's a really good option. Carbohydrates are not the enemy, even though a lot of people say that they are, but they are for energy. They help with mood. They help with recovery. Glycogen stores are really important to put back in your body. And you want to try to not go fasted to a workout, especially if you're lifting weights, because your body won't have enough energy to lift those weights or recover after. And so the good, like I have on the other sheet some ideas for a pre-workout. So like rice cakes and peanut butter, honey sticks. You'll want to have those pretty much right before your exercise. All that energy will help you lift more and then achieve your goals. And the more muscle mass we have as females and we get older, the better we are in the long run. Anyway, so hope that helps. Any questions so far? What do you guys have for your pre-workouts? You early morning workouters especially? Nothing? Water. Yep. Water's good, but we should throw in a rice cake. Does anyone get an upset stomach if they eat before they work out? Yes? You don't like to? Do you eat right after? Yeah. Okay. Okay, good. That's good. What about everybody else? Do you eat right after even? Okay. I'm so glad I asked this question. Okay. If you go ahead. Mm-hmm. Yep. That's good. Because you'll get a. Yep. Yep. No, yep. So for me on my cardio days, I don't like to have much. I feel really heavy if I'm jogging or biking. But on my lifting days, I'll try to throw in, even if it's a half a banana or a quarter of a banana, just to get me through. But if it upset my stomach, I wouldn't want to do that either. Yeah. So even just like a quarter of a banana, something to help that energy so that you can do the best you can in your workout. Yeah, get some more muscles. Okay, so for those of you that don't do before or do after, the only question I'm going to ask is why do you do it? Because you're not giving your body any fuel to make any progress. Not to shame all of you. But. I eat when I get to school. So okay. I hurry up when I leave here. Okay. So busyness, that makes total sense. Yeah. Okay. So you work out at 5 on water. Coffee? No, I just don't. I get up and come here. Okay. And then you're the same. You eat in your car on the way, typically. Teachers are so built different. Okay.
And again, some of it is that like there's just literally no time. I mean, I'm not even thirsty at 4:15. Yeah. Like not until I'm like here we've done something, then I'm like, okay, now I'm thirsty. But
okay.
I get home and I literally don't stop moving until like 10 o'clock when I'm between kids, and then I eat my breakfast in the car. But there is no, other than eating while driving, there's no time to eat.
Okay.
It doesn't matter when you eat.
It does. I mean.
And I work out at 5 because if I don't work out at 5,
yes.
I don't work out. Like,
yeah.
So.
Yep. Yep. And so I'm like, like I said, if I'm doing just my cardio stuff, that's not as important to me to get something in. But I'm so hungry even halfway through my workout that I'm starting to feel queasy because I didn't put anything in and my body has nothing to use, right? And that's like if you're lifting weights and your goal is to gain muscle, you have to give your body the fuel in order to do so. And then how many of you, if you don't eat before and don't eat right after, do you end up feeling ravenous later in the day? Yes, no, not at all.
If we hadn't been doing it this way for so long. Yeah, I would say I mean I've like switched my eating to essentially a 16-8 eating
Okay.
pattern.
Yeah.
So
that's one of those rules I talked about.
Yes. So
yep.
It took me a little while to get to that, and I will say, in general, I actually feel better now than I did like a year ago.
Before, yeah.
We're chatting, all hell broke loose hormonally and everything. So
yeah.
I would say I don't feel like this is where I am now. Like I feel okay.
So do you feel
in that window
yeah.
I eat, but like I don't feel like.
Do you feel like you see gains in the gym? Like, are you steadily climbing in some of your? Oh, I do not doubt that she is strong. That I could totally. But like, do you see yourself like increasing your weights? Even by like 2.5 pounds, 5 pounds.
Some things like bench press. There's always lots of variables. Like I
Sure.
had hip surgery like 5 years ago, and I'm at a point like in my brain now where I just want to work to where I feel like I've challenged myself each day, but I have no idea what I lifted last week versus like now. Everybody else knows, and I'm just like, today this is what I feel like.
Yeah, that totally makes sense.
What feels like heavy to me.
Yeah, that totally makes sense.
So yeah.
Okay. So the only thing I'm going to encourage you not eat before and not eat till way after is to find a small thing that you can put in, whether that be like half of a banana or even something protein after. Like if you can have in your car already ready when you're done to sip on a protein shake after, something like that. You do that? That totally counts. She's been lying this whole time. She eats after. She's fine. Yes. That's 100%. All I mean, I'm not talking about having a whole meal because you're right. Like time is one of the biggest barriers that we're going to face. On top of that, you've got barriers like how you were raised, the whole clean your plate club, right? I had to work really hard to get out of that club, and just to listen to my body and respect my body enough to know I'm hungry, I'm going to eat. I'm not hungry, I'm going to stop, and slow down, right? Like the speed, being raised as an athlete, how fast you just have to scarf and go. And then all of a sudden you're like, whoa, I ate way too much, right? To slow down and let my body have the time to respond to that. So back to your post, that works. Protein shake after, just having it in your car, having something you can put in to help those muscles start to recover and to build. Otherwise, they're just not going to do the work for you. And you're working so hard mentally and physically, especially as educators, you two, like give yourself a little bit of love post workout with some protein. That's
like people. So I actually like figured out how much protein I eat.
Yeah.
I was like, all my friends were like, "You're 46, and we have to eat more protein." I eat a shit ton of protein.
Yes.
I don't think protein is my issue.
No.
Like at all. I was like, they were like, "It's impossible to eat 100 grams of protein." I was like,
I can do that, no problem. Yep.
But that seems never desirable for me. I mean, when we eat pasta, I
sure.
That,
yep.
But I don't eat pasta. I feel like that's a lot of.
And yes, that's like a hard training day. So for example, this would be a day of like a race day, right? So like if you went out and did a half marathon or you like did a triathlon. Yeah. And like yes, and I love that. It's fun. And then like for this, like my daughter eats like this, but she's a basketball player and they're running constantly, right? So like this is their diet. I can't tell you the last time I ate like that, right? I'm like here, probably more like here most of the time, because my protein is typically higher, So yes, that's a really good call out, but that's for like a race day or like a day where like in the summer sometimes when I do my workout, then I come here and I train the girls and I'm doing half of that workout and then I'm going somewhere else, like I could see myself having a little bit more on those days. So that's a really good call out there. Absolutely. So what about you two? What are your daily exercise habits? When do you work out in the mornings or afternoons? You're an evening worker outer. Okay, that's fair. Good for you.
Work out at 9 a.m.
Okay. And then do you eat before you come?
Have about a fruit of a banana.
Perfect. And then after? Protein shake? Just kidding.
Sort of a banana again. The rest of it. I don't have a set.
No, you just kind of follow what you're in the mood for. I like it. Do you think you get enough protein?
No.
Okay. Do you like meat?
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. Do I have any recipes on there for dinner and lunch? I think I do. On your I have ideas. And like seasons change too. Like right now, I mean, I'm sure you're going to talk about like there's really not a lot for your colors that is like local and fresh, right? And so that kind of changes too. That's where that pasta or that carbs section might be a little bigger because there's just not the color that's available. That's why I go with frozen because it's flash frozen. It's got more nutrients in it. But okay. What are some like myths that you believe about food? Or tell me what things you believe about food and I'll tell you if it's true or not. Is anyone in the carbs make you fat folder? No? Okay. That's energy, but timing matters, right? So like we joked the other day and after basketball the girls were drinking blue slushies, right? Like that is totally not post-game fuel. However, if they're going to drink a slushie, I would rather have it before or after because your body is using that, right? So like I used to train a client and her vice was fruit snacks and she would probably eat like 4 packs right before bed. Well, I told her, I love that you have fruit snacks, but how about we put them before you work out? Have that energy carry like that, use that as energy to carry your workout. So then you can still have your fruit snacks because she loved them. And then I changed her to some frozen fruit or something like that for evenings so that it's a different kind of sugar that you're putting in your body. So it's not limiting things, it's just adjusting things to work for your body. Any other questions?
It's not really like things that I necessarily believe, but I think it's interesting, like, having lived 50 years and watching mothers and grandmothers eat, like that when we were teenagers, everything was low fat.
Yeah.
And everything was low fat. And don't eat the fat.
Yep.
Margarine and insanity. And then it was like eat 8 times a day. Like never get hungry. Like you should just sort of
Yeah.
like graze
Uh-huh.
all day long.
All day.
Like you should like breakfast, 10s, 11s, lunch. You know what I mean? Like
Yep.
you should never stop. And like that's probably not good.
And
either.
now it's fast and
right.
you know.
And then there's obviously different times in your life when you need to eat differently.
100%.
I literally did either eat all day long or was sick. Like
right.
So I think it's just like how your body needs change, but also sort of unlearning weirdness.
Absolutely. And you're right. Like
grew up in or observed, and we're like, am I supposed to be eating like that? I didn't know we were not supposed to eat butter. Or like whatever the fad of the day was. And
like when I was breaking some of like my food things, like I grew up in a family that ate and it was the Clean Plate Club. And also like my dad so lovingly was like, eat more, there's plenty of food, eat more, and to like unlearn that behavior. Like I did a lot of work journaling about like, what is the belief that is leading me to this behavior, and sometimes it is just discovering those like inner things that you learned as a child that you just kind of have to get rid of. But then like you said, as aging happens, everything changes, right? Like everything changes. So like my daughter can sit and eat all the carbs she wants and she's going to be a lean mean fighting machine, right? Like I'm in my 40s and my body's doing all weird things. Like I cannot eat like that. My diet is more like good healthy fats and proteins, and that's when I feel my best, right? So like as I sit here and say that carbs aren't the enemy, they're not. However, because I'm getting older, the way I use carbs has to change drastically if I'm going to feel my best. Both like energy, I could have like half of a slice of bread and be sleeping in 30 minutes because my brain can't handle that in the afternoon anymore, right? And so it's just about learning how our body changes, which is super hard because we've been living a certain way for so long. Or I sit and watch my daughter eat like that and look fantastic, and I look at the food and I feel like I just gained a couple pounds, right? Like there's just so many things as a female in the different stages of our lives, how we have to keep adjusting, and it can be really tiring. But that's why I wanted to start off by saying, like, first and foremost, just limit your processed foods and add in protein. Like, don't get rid of everything. Don't throw everything out. Don't shame yourself for things. Just do those 2 things and increase your steps in a day and make sure that you're like getting some strength training in, and everything is just going to be all right. Is there a song or something that says that? So, any other questions before I hand it over to Kat? I know I kind of covered a ton of random stuff, but I hope these handouts do help. There's a lot of information. Yeah, well, no, not on my website. I do touch on a lot of these. If you follow me on Instagram, or my website is anchoredfemale.com, but on Instagram it's anchored female also, and I do have a lot of tips on there. I haven't posted any new stuff just yet, but these are handouts that my clients get if they sign up for nutrition, because I walk through, like, I'll walk through protein, and we'll talk about protein for a week, and then we'll walk through fats and talk about like each one of these for a while, just to reshape our beliefs on each of these and how those nutrients actually benefit our bodies. And then I have a bunch of handouts on macronutrients. So if any of you are interested in learning about that, just reach out and I can send you like the most important macronutrients for females and what they do for your body. So yeah, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. I have a lot of resources, but I thought these might be the most beneficial for this group of exercise ladies. Cool. Thank you for your time.